Excellent!
Well, guys, I hope your wallets are ready because Team Associated just announced that they are going to release a Team Associated RC10 Brian Kinwald tribute car. Personally, I think this is a really, really nice release from Team Associated. Brian Kinwald raced with Team Associated in his early career, then finished it off with Team Losi, and sadly died in 2019. He won 2 IFMAR World Championships and countless national titles in his career. Personally, I really like what Associated has done with this RC10. It's got a really personal touch to it. And in the early 90s, when Brian Kinwald was at the top of his game, I was buying all the RC Car Action magazines, kind of watching along with him. I remember it very vividly. And when he came out with this World's car that they're now re-releasing, the iconic drip paint job, and just Brian's face, you know, he had just a really nice face. He just seemed like a nice guy. He was just a driver that always sort of resonated with me. And this car is a car that I always wanted to have, and I definitely will add this one to my collection. And I think it's just nice to see it replicated with as much detail as they put into it. So in this video, guys, we're just going to talk about it real quick. And then I did a screen record of RC10's teaser. If you haven't seen it yet, it'll be at the end of this video. You know, it's nice to see the other team guys talking about Brian, saying some nice words, and going over some of the details of his car specifically. As a kid, I think I just assumed that his car was just an out-of-the-box car, but in fact, it really wasn't. His chassis sides were cut down, he had polished all the edges, trimmed his motor plate, polished the edges on that, and they even mentioned he had like an iridium graphite rear shock tower, some kind of a special material that he had specially made. Very, very cool. Custom battery strap, things like that. And of course, the big iconic number 8 in the front window and in the side windows. It just looks cool. It's very, very Brian Kinwald. And in case you missed it, guys, I just want to put this video together for you. Spread the word on this release because I think this is kind of a special release. It's nice to see them paying tribute to a guy like Brian.
Will you please welcome from America, Brian Kinwald.
Brian Kinwald, BK, Bob, as some of us know. A lot of great memories of Brian and racing with Brian and watching him come onto the scene. And, you know, at that time, I was pretty much in my prime of racing and winning events. And I had the big, you know, bullseye on my back by a lot of drivers. But, you know, when Brian came on the scene, he was a newbie, and you could see he had a lot of driving talent.
Brian's racing success is highlighted by his victory at the 1993 IFMAR World Championships in two-wheel drive off-road, which cemented his place as one of the best in the sport.
From 8th place on the grid, it was just an exceptional drive from Brian, and I think it was the coming of Brian. From that moment on, he kind of never looked back, really. He was growing and developing, and that just catapulted him into the absolute icon, legend that he was, consummate professional, attention to detail, so meticulous with his car prep, and I think that's one of the reasons Brian stood out from the crowd.
His skill on the track was complemented by his deep understanding of car setup and race strategy, allowing him to excel in a variety of competitive environments. Brian's consistent performances in major events, including multiple national titles, established him as a top contender for over a decade.
You know, his career continued down that path, and he won numerous championships and continued his career. And I think from the very beginning, we knew that Brian was going to be an icon in the industry and one of the top guys for many, many years because he committed so much of his time and life to the hobby. More than almost anybody else.
Brian was a tough competitor to beat, and this one time I out-qualified him, I thought I had him beat. But true to Brian's nature, he dug in, he made it happen, and put himself in a position to win. So congratulations to Brian for winning the Worlds. Releasing the car in his honor is an amazing tribute. So proud to be part of it.
With Brian Kinwald's car, we wanted to recreate as close as we could
what Brian Kinwald ran in England to win his world championships. We did that a few different ways, many different ways actually. From the body that he ran, the decals, even the window masks were cut down lower, like he kind of started that whole big window era back then. We wanted to do the chassis the way he ran it. He had a black chassis with the sides cut down. So this car has the sides cut down. The front nose plate, we also polished the edges of the nose plate like he had. The rear motor mount, the rear motor plate is kind of cut just like his, and polished on the edges as well. That just kind of recreated exactly the way he ran the chassis. He had specialty shock towers, front and rear. The rear tower had the iridium style graphite. And so we connected up with the original graphite manufacturer that did it for Brian. And he was excited to work with us, and we recreated exactly what Brian used, the same material and the same geometry, everything that Brian ran. So that's what we have for this car as well. The front tower was a specialty front shock tower that Brian had made too, graphite. There's one hole in the shock tower that's just like he ran it, and we recreated it just like he ran. We also had little things in there like the plastic nuts we used to run back in the day, the 440 nuts. So you can see that on the shock towers, shock mounting positions, and just a lot of little details that Brian had on the car. Even the battery strap, he had a custom battery strap, so we recreated that as well. So although we couldn't match Brian Kinwald's car exactly, there's so many fine details that he had on there with titanium screws, small 440 nuts, little aluminum spacers that you can go crazy looking at all the fine detail that he went through on his car. But we did about 90% of what we could do, what we can recreate. But this kit lets the final consumer find those little bits and those little pieces to put those finishing touches on it. So we wanted to try and make this a true tribute to Brian Kinwald's winning world championship car. And I think we came pretty close.